Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors that aim to share information, advice, tips, and tall tales about our favorite pastime. Head over to thepitmasterpodcast.com for all things Pitmasters, or follow us on your favorite social media platform.
I'm selling 50 meat platters out of my house off my 2 little backyard smokers, man, and the neighbor thought I was selling drugs. You know, because cars just pull up, like random cars just pull up. People that meet off Instagram because they'll share their fringe. And that's just, I tell people all the time, man, the power of hashtags. Like, you'll be surprised like how much marketing you can get for free if you know how to use Instagram.
Here are the hosts of the Pitmaster Podcast, Rusty Monson, head pitmaster of Salt City Barbecue, and the 2-time grand champion pitmaster of Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue, the Anthony Luan.
All right, Pitmasters, on the show today, we have...
Go ahead.
Three, two, one. Hold on. Meat by the pound. Yikes. Where's my phone?
Let's tilt that forward. Yeah, that looks a lot better. There we go.
Message for us. Oh, that guy I'm trying to get together with him. Plates by the pound. Okay, ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. All right, we're not recording anything. Gotta do this, right? Come on. Yeah. This is me. And I record. And this is you. Testing. Hello.
Testing 1, 2.
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, Pitmasters, on the podcast today, we have Aaron Gonerway of Plates by the Pound out of Colorado. He's
cool. Let me fill you in. What are you trying to go with here?
Stop that one. 3, 2, 1. All right, Pitmasters, on the show today, we have Aaron Gonerway from Plates by the Pound out of cold Colorado, but he's still stick burning it up.
That is epic.
It is epic. I'm really excited to get out there and try some of his food. It looks great, really, really good. We actually had people suggest he come on the show, so if you guys are out in the Colorado way, check him out. Plates by the Pound. Aurora, if I remember correctly. Colorado. That's how you say it if you're
From where?
From Utah.
Oh, I've never said it that way.
Colorado.
Nope.
Oh. My dad says oil. Anyway, so 2 days you're leaving down to the World Championship State Cook-Off thing.
Yes, I am pretty stoked.
Down in Texas.
Yeah.
It's gonna rain. It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be like cooking in St. George again. We did a couple weekends ago.
Was that cold?
Yeah, I think the high was like 52.
That's amazing. 52.
Yeah, 52 or 53.
I'd be out there tanning. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be like in Texas. So
cool. I got to get a tan.
Yeah, we already had a test run technically for us Utah teams
in the cold.
Yep, pretty excited about it. Got all registered for the Cowtown Classic. See how we can do there. I should say. Yeah.
Nice. Well, good luck. You're flying, so
yeah.
But a lot of people are driving right now. We see every single day. I'm seeing on my way down. We're halfway there. We're in New Mexico. We're in blah blah blah.
Right.
So that's cool. I wish one day I'll go. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Don't know though if that'll ever happen soon or not, but we'll see.
Well, you have a full year.
I don't know, man. I try. I keep on. Man, I get up in the morning. I'm like, hell yes, I'm going to do a competition. I'm going to mark off my calendar. And all of a sudden that gets closer to that calendar. Man, I cannot do that competition. I talk about that all the time. So we will not go into that anymore. But speaking of competitions, don't forget, guys, there is a couple happening here in Utah coming up. I mean, gosh, everywhere, really. So, just look up, get ready for your competition season.
For sure. Yeah, we have a Works one happening March 26th. You get signed up for that one. And then for everybody who's not a judge and that wants to become a judge, there is a judging course the evening before the 25th. We'll go to SEA, or I guess steakcookoffs.com and register for your events there. Or you can sign up through, if you're kind of local and you want to cook in the barbecue Pit Stop Championship Series, you can go to steakscores.com and sign up there. And what's the West Coast one?
West Coast.
There's a West Coast points chase as well.
There is.
So I totally spaced off with that one.
You want to get on that one soon because that's kind of that's gonna. I don't know. It's cool, but you want to get into it before it gets too crazy. But it's the West Coast Steak Championship. You can find them on Facebook.
And then there's a couple backyards coming together. Rusty's working on, so be on the lookout for those.
Slowly.
There's going to be a huge one up there in Logan, not Layton, Logan, Utah. Rusty has a little bit of intel on that. He's been speaking about it. I'm not sure if he's ready to talk about it.
Is it the Cache Valley one?
Yep.
That one's happening. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
That one is going to be, it's the Cache Valley Cook-Off. So you guys can check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a huge prize purse. I mean, it's like $8,000 when it all comes down to it.
Right.
So you can, you can actually enter the choice, the People's Choice, and you get paid for that. So you can earn a lot of money doing this. It's $150 buy-in, I believe. Lots of prizes, lots of cool ways to get your money back. And it's just ribs and chicken. So you can do that. And the meat is provided to you.
Dang. So all you got to do is pay your entry fee and show up with your smokers and you're good to go.
Yes.
And have a crack at 8 Gs.
Yes.
So you're almost qualified to be backyard again. You haven't cooked in so long.
Man, it's getting there. It feels like it feels like it.
I was looking at it, dude. It's been officially almost 2 years since I've cooked a full KCBS competition.
Really?
Yeah. Right?
It makes sense. I mean, there's so many people like cooking steak now. It's kind of an afterthought, but
there's not a lot of opportunity out here in the Utah area, I should say, because there are opportunities. You just have to leave.
Yeah. As we talked about 100 times on this podcast, we have to travel to get to where they're at. But yeah, so you guys be on the lookout for that one. You guys can sign up for that. I'm gonna put I'll probably put the website in the notes. I'm trying to find it right now. I can't locate it, but we'll have it in the notes so you guys can check it out. But that's gonna be a cool one, man. I'm really excited about that one. There's gonna be one happening in Tooele. That's gonna be towards the end of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna have one at Barbecue Pit Stop probably in July.
Yep.
We're working on the dates for that.
And all I have to say is keep your ears to the streets on the Morgan competition here in Utah. I think that one's going to be a pretty big deal. So,
is that the SCA?
Yeah, that's an SCA competition in June, I believe. So keep your ears out for that one. That one's going to be a nice one. And then just cook everything local.
That's right. Guys.
Every competition you can get to, try to do it.
All right, guys. I found information on it real quick. It's the Cache Smokeout. So you guys can go to cachesmokeout.org.
CACHE.
Smokeout.org. All one word. Check it out. So a lot of cool stuff in there. Want to talk about that one for you Utah people, which again is super weird because we're used to like promoting Utah stuff because we had primarily Utah listeners, but that's not the case anymore.
Not anymore.
So thank you, California, Texas, New York, everybody, places that have now listened to Utah.
Yeah,
we're getting our big boy pants on.
At least we pretend to.
Finally.
Yeah, it's almost short season. Not pants. We're gonna get our big boy shorts on.
Oh, okay.
We're almost out.
Not anymore. It's freaking snowing here.
True.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like I was thinking, oh man, this is great. We're getting into the season, and but no. Then nope.
Boom, snowstorm. It's supposed to snow tonight.
Yep. So I have an event tomorrow in the snow.
It's gonna be great. That's 2 back-to-back events in the snow.
What's it going to be like to do the food truck in the summer where it's nice and warm?
You're not going to know what to do.
I know it's gonna be so weird. That's all for me, really.
Yeah, not a whole lot for me. If you want to come say hi to me down in Texas, if you're down there, come over to the Arcasipi group area. I should be there. Come take a picture, say hello. We can take a picture together and hashtag Where's Rusty, and we'll go from there.
Morgan Strunk actually had an idea to do a podcast where we do a roundup after this.
Oh yeah,
so we'll do something like that.
Heck yeah, I'll get like 300 cooks to join.
Yeah, we'll get a couple people to do it. That'd be fun. Yeah, so we'll have like three people.
Not 300.
I don't know how we're gonna do that.
Big old Zoom meeting,
right? Everyone's like, I didn't get a single word.
That's all right. You're there. That's all that matters,
right? The Pitmasters Podcast 300 people event.
That'd be actually pretty cool.
That would be kind of cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll just get right in with Aaron, man. It was a great talking to him. I can't wait to get up to Aurora, Colorado, and check out some of his food. So if you're out there, check it out and let us know what you think, because I want to know
for sure.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
Yep.
Bye.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection with Thermapen 1. Thermapen 1.
Hi, this is Greg Rempe, host of the Barbecue Central Show, and you're listening to the Pitmasters Podcast.
Pitmasters on the show today. We have Aaron Gonerway. We have Plates by the Pound out of Colorado. But you're not from Colorado necessarily, are you, Aaron? Where are you from?
Originally from Clarksville, Texas, a small town northeast of Dallas. So a lot of people don't know where it's at, but like I said, Denver's home, man. So people get a little crazy when you don't represent where you are, but like I said, Denver's home. Denver's raised me. I got friends here, family here. You know, so I've learned a lot.
So it's kind of like one of those things, like you lived in Texas a short time, but then you spent most of your time in Colorado, and so you're from Colorado, basically. Are you hearing that?
But we will always go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to know if all the Californians were hearing that, because when they come to Utah, they spent one day in California. They were born there. They literally drove to Utah, and now they're still from California. I'm from California. I just think it's a good lesson that people can learn. I think it's awesome.
Well, Outcast said it best, man. They said it's not where you're from; it's where you stay at.
That's where you're at. Yeah, exactly. Where you're at. Exactly.
Cool. Well, we're glad to have you on the show. So what are you doing right now? You own a place called Plates by the Pound in Aurora, right? Is that where it's at?
Yeah. So we have an actual brick and mortar. We've been there since September 21. A little small spot. It's not my ideal location, but it's a location. It's better than doing stuff out of my house, right?
Yeah. So what were you doing before? Actually, let's just go from that. Let's just start there. Where did all this come from? Where did you learn? Where did you want to become a pitmaster from?
Well, back in Clarksville, man, like we grew up in the country, and you kind of learn the cycle of life pretty quick, because one day you'll see an animal, and the next day they're shooting it, and that same day you get asked to help gut it and do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do as a kid. And then my mom's brother, my uncle Glenn, the first person who ever introduced me to barbecue. Because as a kid, you don't know what you're eating. You're just eating shit, But the cool part that fascinated me was the fire, the pit. And he had an old rusty smoker that he built himself, no thermometer. Nowadays all the gadgets, he didn't have that, and he made some of the best barbecue. And I will always ask him, hey, can I help? And I would either get cussed out, like get the hell out of here, or he would ask me, hey, go do this, go do that. And as I got older, I would try to recreate those moments. And having an apartment, you can't have a charcoal smoker, or a grill. You gotta have gas. So I had to, cook, many years had to, on a gas grill, and that's a lot of gas fires and grease fires and, smoke, and the leasing office getting called on me because I was smoking out my patio. So I had to cook at night, so I would bring on my charcoal grill at night when everybody was asleep. And, that way they can't ruin my cook, because in the past I'll be in the middle of a cook and I hear my door just knocking, like, who the hell? I think it's police. But it's the leasing office manager. Like, you need to put that on right now. So that's kind of where that came from. And then when I get a house, when I got my own house, I can do what I want, so I started getting, my little offset smokers, and, again, trying to recreate those moments, of my childhood.
And so when you were moved up here from Texas, it's really nice down there. I mean, it gets like to 90 degrees, the coldest at any point in Texas, it feels like, to Colorado, which is minus 98 degrees sometimes up in the mountains. It's a lot different. What kind of changes did you notice when it comes to the cooking and moving from there and cook, and those times you had with your uncle to the times you have in Colorado? What were the challenges you had?
Well, as I got older, the altitude, I think a lot of people here try to pay attention too much to the temperature, thermometer. And you can dry some shit out, man, if you don't know what you're doing. Like, so I've learned to cook by feel. I've learned to watch my smokestack, because that's going to tell me a lot of things. It's going to tell me, if the smoke's too thick, hey, I need to go under the shovel, move stuff around, get more airflow. If the smoke's too thin, it could be two things. The fire's going out. Maybe, it's a lot of factors you have to keep in mind. And I'm not a fancy cook. I don't knock nobody who use the gadgets, but it's just something that I don't think I need. Again, it goes off preference. It's your preference on how you cook, and I just found a way that works for me. But a lot of it is just the altitude.
Yeah.
Okay. Foil became your best friend, right? Because paper doesn't work up at this. Work up in these altitudes.
It's really hard. Like, even for me going to like Colorado, Lake City, Colorado for a competition. I mean, I'm used to the altitude here in Salt Lake. It's, of course, we're like 4,300 feet, which is, a far way up for most people. So we have those challenges too. But going to Lake City, which is 9,000 feet, everything was finishing so early. Like, I would temp my brisket at 195, and we're used to taking it to 210, 214 sometimes for competition. And it was at 195 just chilling for 4 hours, and then it was done. 195, done. And so it's just interesting how altitude affects so many things. And I don't know who said it, if it was on this podcast or not, but when you're on YouTube and you're taking those classes, understand that those people, if you're in this area, Colorado, Utah, the Rocky Mountains of any kind, or you're higher up, understand these people are at no elevation for the most part, and things just go different. Like in Texas, the humidity is so great, so you don't need a lot of moisture. It's just kind of natural. You come up here, there's no moisture. You have to add moisture. It's just a whole thing. So you come out here to Colorado, you finally get your hooks, and you can go do your thing. And then you open a restaurant. Is that, can you only do it on the weekends? So you're kind of, is that right?
So it's like it's a backstory to that, man. Before I had my restaurant, I worked for Arapahoe County Fairgrounds. I was there for 3 years. And then COVID hit. And it wasn't that I didn't like my job. I just didn't see, the long-term haul there. And I would always come home every day and say, hey, babe, let's start this business. And she would look at me crazy, like, okay, whatever. And then I love my wife to death, but she got tired of me coming home every day with a new business idea. And then one day she was like, won't you sell your barbecue? And I was like, no, because during that time, during COVID, if you have Facebook, at least here, everybody was selling something, from face masks, burritos, tamales, and I didn't want to be a part of that rat race, so it was like, I just didn't want to be involved in that. I didn't want to do it. And me being a kind of a barbecue connoisseur, like, I didn't, I know what barbecue should be, but there's people out there, again, preference on how they feel, or how they perceive, a rib should look like, or so I just didn't want to get involved in that. And she was like, well, we're going to do it. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to do it then. So the next day, man, we went to Sam's Club and bought like 2 briskets, three 2-packs of ribs, and I texted 25 of my friends that I knew that would probably buy it from me, and pretty much they all did. And that day, man, I went ahead and just sold them. And my phone was dry that day. I was like, man, like the food was nasty. They didn't like it. And then literally an hour later, my phone started getting flooded with text messages. Hey, man, put me down for 5 next week. My neighbor loved it. You know, and I have two 25-gallon smokers in my backyard. So, you know, I'm putting out food on that. I'm like, man, like I'm not even there yet. People want me to make more food. So it was kind of cool to get that perception, you know, of my cooking. So I will work my job, and I was off on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. I mean, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So I will cook on the weekends. So work my job Monday through Wednesday, Thursday, and cook on the weekends, and then next thing I know, I'm selling 50 meat platters out of my house off my 2 little backyard smokers, man. And the neighbor thought I was selling drugs. You know, because cars just pull up, like random cars just pull up. People that I meet off Instagram because they'll share their friends, and that's just I tell people all the time, man. The power of hashtags. Like you'll be surprised, like how much marketing you can get for free if you know how to use Instagram. You know, it's not about the likes, it's about the views. Because the views mean they're looking at your stuff. So I would say post videos so you can see. It'll tell you how many views you get. You know, and that means that you get traffic. You know, people say, "Oh, you know, I'm only getting 20 likes." I don't mean shit. You know, so fast forward, we're like, okay, I'm starting to get nervous now because I'm not even legal at this point. So I'm like, somebody's going to say something, you know, to get me in trouble. So like that was my big worry the whole time cooking out of my house. So we was going to try to get a food truck, me and my wife, food trailer, and we went to the place, deal fell through, ended up getting our money back, thankfully. So we drove by the location I'm at now, and I saw a for rent sign. So every Sunday, I would say, hey, let's get in the car and go look at locations. And she used to get so mad. She's like, oh my gosh, you're going to go drive around again? So I'll pack my son in the back seat, get some snacks, get his little tablet, get my wife. We'll just drive around the Denver area. Because I was saying, man, like you have to dream to live, right? So like I'm like, one day I'm gonna have a restaurant here. I will always tell myself that. And we would just drive around for hours looking for locations, and we found a spot that's had a for rent sign, called it, end up getting it, man. So we've been there since September.
That's way cool.
That is way cool.
And so, do you still do? You just do on the weekend still? Is that what it's like? It's like just kind of cook until and then serve what Friday, Saturday?
No, so I'm only on Saturdays, 11 o'clock until I sell out. Yeah, for me, we only have two people. So it's me, my wife, and I have a dishwasher, but he doesn't cook. My wife and Brandy, who's my kitchen manager. So I do all the cooking. And so that's why I do one day a week, because I don't want to risk integrity of my food to do too much. As you guys know, barbecue takes time. You know, and everything I do is fresh. You know, I don't keep nothing for days to give it to you next week. You know, so we go until we sell out every Saturday.
That's awesome.
Nice. And you're selling out every Saturday?
Every Saturday we're selling out. You know, it's crazy. It's a blessing, man, because especially to have people come to your spot during these times. You know, because a lot of restaurants don't get that traffic, and you know, and we are. So, like I said, I can just be nothing but thankful.
Yeah.
Just curious. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but how many racks of ribs are you selling? How many briskets? How many pork butts? What are your numbers?
I'll tell you. Yeah, so I'll do about 35 to 40 racks of ribs. Probably 8-9 briskets, depending on the briskets, depending on cost. To be honest, so if I can get a good deal on briskets, honestly, I just started doing briskets in January because of the cost. Me being a smaller operation, I gotta watch my pennies, you know. So I said I didn't want to spend all this money. I wanted folks to ask for them first. That makes sense. It's like, hey, do you do brisket? Because I still do smoked beef, which is smoked chuck roast. Because I could buy a chuck roll for like $60. You know, a 30-pound chuck roll and get like 6 roast out of that. So I would smoke it like a brisket. And then January I started doing brisket. And I sell out of that in probably 30, 40 minutes. And it's like I just can't do enough, but it's like I'm not gonna beat myself up to cook more food to be greedy, because I'm more about chasing progress, and consistency versus being greedy. It's like, man, I have to have, I could have sold 10 more briskets today, but again, I'm only one person, so and we probably do about 5 pork butts. I'll probably do, I'll say 60 pounds of smoked beef. And I always do 2 sides every week because I rotate my sides out because I've learned that size is the first thing you have leftovers of because the meat is the first to go. So every week I'll do 2 sides. Like I did collard greens and coleslaw last Saturday. I'm gonna do mac and cheese and probably beans, next Saturday. So that way I don't have a lot of leftovers. I just try to keep that rhythm, consistency going. So
Rusty, you can probably speak on this too. There's probably not a big profit margin in brisket, right? With the prices down, what you got to sell it for, which that you can sell out on it. Your profit margins are in what, drinks, pulled pork, and sides.
Pulled pork. Right now, pulled pork. I would actually, I don't know about you, Aaron, but for me, it's ribs. It's ribs. Ribs are insane. That profit margin is nothing. Like I know people selling racks of ribs for almost $40. Which is
I had to increase my prices because I was at 25, but right now I'm at 30 for a rack of ribs. And one of my friends that does barbecue down in South Carolina, shout out to Scott's Barbecue, he was like, dude, you could probably do that for 35, 40 if you want to. But it was like, again, it's like that was my struggle starting off because I don't know how to price shit. So it's like, where do I start? So I remember reaching out to Johnny White from Goldie's on Instagram. I was like, hey man, can you help me out with pricing? And I have a few questions. And he was like, hey man, yeah, I'll do my best to answer for you. And he answered. I sent him some stuff that I was doing. He said that seems pretty fair. But his spot, they do this by the pound or half pound. He said that's where you're gonna make most of your money. So I have like a 1 plate and a 2 plate option, but everything else is about a pound or half pound. So it's been a struggle from when we first started to now. I think I'm getting it, understanding it, because I don't have no business experience, man. I come from supervising, government work, so it's like, me and my wife, we go back and forth a lot. She's, oh my gosh, you can't charge that. You can't charge this. I'm like, well, I got to get them in the door first. Because anybody, if they come in there and see brisket for $40 a pound, they're going to walk right out. And go down to like Dick's Barbecue, or somewhere else where it's cheaper. So that's just the constant battle, man. But I found my sweet spot. I'm at $29 a pound for brisket. And about 19 for a half pound.
Yeah, that's a little higher.
And
than
that seems pretty good.
I'm like you too. I'm like, what my pricing should be? I'm like, this.
Well, we had the perfect example. That's when we were talking about the other day. I was like, hey, some people in my work want to buy your sausage, and you're like, I don't know how much to sell that for. You started running the math in your head, and I was like, come on, you can charge more than that. And you're like, well, yeah. I can understand to finding that sweet spot. You don't want to be like greedy and be like, hey, mine's X amount and it's premium, you should be paying this much. But then again, you don't want to be like cutting yourself short all that work and you're not seeing any revenue from
you're not paying yourself. Because to piggyback you, man, we went down to Texas to see family, and we went to Terry Black's, and I was in line. I was like it was like 3 friends in front of me, and I swear they spent probably $400 and didn't even flinch. And they was just taking pictures and I was like, man, okay, and I was like just looking at their menu. I was like, okay, how can I compare? But it's like again, people go to Texas for the experience. So I really feel like it's a thing. Oh, I'm here and take a photo op of my food. And some of the places there don't have the highest quality barbecues in some places, but they go for the experience. So people will pay for that. And I feel the struggle for me in Denver is there's other cuisines here that outshadows barbecue. You know, we have a huge Hispanic population. So Mexican food is huge. You have a huge Vietnamese population. So you have pho. You know, then like Denver's becoming pretty much San Francisco. So everything has to be like trendy, you know, or fusion. So like, you know, there's a lot of great barbecue places or, you know, here, but they don't get the shine like other cuisines, like Texas is barbecues. That's why people can go there, pay those prices, you know, and not give a shit because they're going for the whole experience of food. I'm here in Mecca. You know, it's like going to New York to watch the New York Knicks play. You know, it's like you're going there for that experience.
Yeah, barbecue is definitely a destination restaurant. It's not one of those things.
There you go.
Let's just go grab some barbecue. It is a destinational place.
Exactly. You have to love it. And people here like it, they don't love it. People in Texas love it. And that's what's the huge difference is, man. So
yeah, and it's like you said, it's a destination, but and at the same time, raising my prices up, I got to the point where, because when I first started, it was like, okay, because when I made my menu, it was before COVID, when I was playing it in my head, and I had this piece of paper, and when I raised the prices to meet the demand now from all the, you know, shortages and the rise of pork and beef, I was like really having a hard struggle with that, and because it was out of this world high. Like I went $10-15 on things, and I was like, dang, you know, and so. But it's funny. I haven't seen anyone have a problem with it at all. Not one person has come to the truck and said, "Oh man, this is expensive," or someone told me like, "Yeah, it was good, but it was too expensive." Nobody. Like I'm not going to do this, but I feel like I can go another $10 on everything. Maybe get a little flack, but not much. You know, it's crazy how much people will pay for barbecue specifically right now. It's crazy. Absolutely.
I think it's changing with the time though. People are actually understanding how much work goes into it. You know, 10 years ago, people were like, "Oh, barbecue is just another restaurant. Why is it so expensive?" But I think with the time, cooking shows are showing how much work goes into it and the time commitment. And I think people are slowly starting to understand why barbecue's priced where it's at.
Yeah.
So
it is, man. But I think a lot of it too is people, you know, or, you know, they rather like, why would I go spend $100 here where I can go here? You know, so it's like, it's about making their money stretch. And I tell my wife all the time, people eat with their eyes, then their pocket, right? So you got to make it, you know, make it look worth, you know, you can't go somewhere and get two little small bones, you know, quarter pound of pulled pork and charge them $28. You know, you got to make it appealing. And that's like you said, it's a challenge, man. And plus with cost too. So I'm learning how to cost stuff. I'm learning again. I didn't have no mentors. I had no restaurant experience. And there was a program here in Denver called SCORE, where they team me up with local business owners, and they didn't have a barbecue guy to match me up with because there's just not a barbecue scene here. And the guy had a pizza food truck. And he was like, "Well, I could talk to you about this, but not about that. But as you guys can know, barbecue is a different animal, man. So like, it's hard to compare costs with a pizza place with a barbecue restaurant, just because it's not apples and apples.
No, not at all. And like you guys are saying, the time it takes, people are finally understanding, because I think that's a lot of the cost. Right now, the cost of food is what's really driving it up. But man, when you look at all the time it takes, and effort you put into it, you know, like you're running one day a week because you can't do it all, and you're doing a lot. I mean, that's a lot of barbecue. I do less than that by myself, and I would do maybe 1 or 2 times a week, and it kills me, man. It's hard. It's like it's really challenging. It's getting easier, you know, now that it's like I'm getting like a little bit more into the swing of things, but it's still, I don't think people understand all that work that goes into it. And then you have a pizza place, and yeah, I respect the pizza places, but you prep once a week, twice a week, and you can go every day, all night long, nonstop if you have the product. You know, we don't have that luxury. People will get a hold of me like, "Hey, can you bring your food truck tomorrow?" I'm like, "Tomorrow? No." Do you know how long it takes to do barbecue? Have you ever had it before? It's not just like something I just like microwave and head on down to your area. You know, it takes a long time. I have to go to the store. I have to plan it out. I have to cook it. I have to prepare it.
You got to trim and all kind of stuff, man. And honestly, you know what saved my life, man? The proofer. When I was doing that in my house, like I would be up all night outside. I had a schedule. I would doze off, you know, extra 3 hours. I'm like, fuck, I didn't fuck that up, you know. And then so like one of my good friends, man, does barbecue back home, and he was like, "What you buy a proofer?" I'm like, "What is a proofer?" And he was like, "Dude, that's gonna help you get rest." He was like, "Honestly, man, learn how to, you know, cook your stuff to to color to how you like, and then proof it. That way, you know, you can do more and not put less stress on yourself. Because honestly, man, I tell people it's about your process, and I have to find my process. And with me, like I learned to cook and hold. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and that's how I can do what I do by myself. You know, so it's like with my ribs, I cook, hold them, finish them in a proofer, and by the time in the morning they're done. Turn off my proofer. That way they tighten up. And then I turn it back on to get them at the temperature for service. So it's just ways you have to just find, instead of just, if I had an operation like Terry Black's, you know, extra cooks, you know, I can come in at night shift, but I'm just by myself. So the proofer is my other employee, technically, that helps me.
The food's better. Like if you hold a brisket, so you cook one in the daytime, you hold it overnight until service the next day, you're holding like 14 hours. That brisket's going to be 5 times better than it was. You know, if you were to give it a 1 out 4 hour hold, you know, it's so much nicer. The pork butt's juicier. Everything's better. I mean, maybe ribs take a hit, but other than that, man, it's awesome. Turkey leaks. I know you sell turkey legs, stuff like that. You know, it all benefits from holding.
It's holding, man. I know some stuff. Because people say, "Why don't you do chicken?" And chicken's a different animal. You gotta. For me, I have to do a day of, or it's not gonna have the same hit. Like I said, ribs, brisket, pulled pork butts. You can hold those into the next day. Chicken, I just don't. I have to have the same day for me. So it's like I have so much going on by myself. I just can't cook chicken with my schedule, because like I literally get home at 7 because I'm holding stuff, and I'm back at my restaurant at 1 in the morning. So from 1 in the morning until we sell out, I'm there, you know, filling the foil, making sure, you know, it's not overproofing, because you can overproof some ribs easy if you're not careful. So it's just learning, you know, again, I don't tempt things, so I go by feel. When I get a feel, I like, oh, you know, okay, it's done. So it's like I'm up all night. So when I literally from 6 in the morning to 7, I probably get an hour nap. Then my wife shows up to the restaurant. You know, then I gotta start prepping my sides. You know, so it's a lot, man, and it took people a lot to get to understand the 1 day a week concept. Because people got so spoiled with click of a phone, you know, hey, I want this, I want it now. Uber Eats, for example, you know, or you know, they want to go DoorDash. So it's like they want food, they want it now. And people used to hate me, man. They would come by, and I was cooking on Friday, and like, oh, you got no food for me yet? I said, no, man, cooking for tomorrow. I was like, oh, that's bullshit. You know, I drove all the way down here, you know, and it took them a while to understand, you know, why I do what I do. You know, so they had to buy the process.
Yeah. You know, that's completely acceptable too. Like, there's some famous barbecue joints that they still cook to 1 day. Snow's Barbecue only cooks for Saturdays, you know? It's going to become, over time, I think it's going to become a destinational spot, and you're going to have people lining up and wanting it if it's quality, and you'll get there. You just got to keep pushing through it and stand by that. And people will slowly understand, because you, I, Rusty, we'll go down to Snow's and we'll wait in line because we know it's going to be worth it. So it's just a matter of time of building that base of people that will come back and support you every time.
Yeah, it's just like it's sticking to my guns, man. So it's like I'm not gonna again. Won't you open some more days? Can't do it, and I'll be the first to tell you no. You know, hey man, I'll tell them why. I have a family. I want to see my family. You know, and I tell them my week. Mondays I deep clean my restaurant. So I go in Mondays and I deep clean. Tuesday, you know, I take inventory. Wednesday I do all my ordering. You know, and pick up, if I have a will call Thursday, I'm prepping. That means trimming ribs, trimming briskets, making sauce, cutting onions, and then Friday I cook, and Saturday, I serve. So it's just so much that goes into it. And if I add another day, I'm gonna need to hire at least 2 more people. And me going in it with no experience, the best thing I did was keep my overhead down. And I have that liability, man. So it's like, I don't want to pay their bills. I want to be able to pay my bills too, and not just their bills. So I think me being cautious, man, me being a chess player, I always tell people it kind of made me, stick to my guns and go into it cautiously so I can learn as I go. And I think a lot of restaurants, man, they think big, then they bite out too much they can handle. Then they have all this pressure to sell more food, and they got to lay people off. And I just didn't want that, that burden.
Well, it's hard. Like I was telling Anthony, it's like, Anthony works at ThermoWorks. And like the best way to describe it is like, heed what he does at his job. And he tells me he does his job. I'm like, cool. Well, if you own a business, like you own your own place, like I'm not just doing that job. I'm doing the job of that girl at that desk too, and the guy sitting in the desk at the top corner. I'm doing the lady who's doing all the social media. I'm doing the guy's job who does the website. I'm doing the person who's doing all the financial stuff. I'm doing the person who's doing the tax stuff. I'm doing the person who's doing all the payroll stuff. I'm doing the HR stuff. I'm doing the guy who, the person walking in the front. I mean, I'm doing everything. And I think when you first start a restaurant or any kind of business, period, I don't think you get that, and you're doing all those things. And to top it all off, you're cooking the food that you want to do. And so what happens, sadly, is a lot of these people will dumb down on the food because they have so much to worry about. And so they're like, then they become like, okay, well, if I vacuum seal these ribs and reheat them up, a week down the road, that's so much easier, and biting off kind of more than they can chew, really. And then they don't do well, and they spend all this time buffing up their restaurant. The best thing I ever heard is nothing fails a bad product like good marketing, And so you got to be careful. Your product has to be number one. It has to stay true. You have to protect that to the best that you can. And if that is open on Saturday, that's open on Saturday. If it's my case, it's like I'm only doing 1 or 2 events a week, and that's it until I can. I'm in the same boat you are. And so it's just like until I can get it going, and I feel comfortable, and I can pass that torch off to someone who can cook on a Tuesday. Right now, I'm not ready.
Right now, and I've learned so much just from Rusty, like how much work goes on the back end, because I can come from the common consumer. I'll be scrolling through Instagram like, oh, that looks good. Oh, they're open. Let's go get some food, eat it, enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, blast it, on social media. Right. That's what you don't want to do. And people don't understand the work of a one person army that actually goes into all that. They don't realize that you guys are putting in 7 days a week, 6 days a week of work, and they just go in and eat it and then bounce. And hopefully they enjoy it, because Rusty stands by this too. You don't have a customer until they come back, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm a big believer, man. Lions don't lie. Lions don't lie. So if they didn't like your shit, they wouldn't be lining up, to come there. Yeah, but it's just a challenge, man. But I think learning the business, I'm learning what I like and don't like, and I'm learning kind of where I want to go, next. So it's like I'm not really, like you were saying, I'm not a fan of the business side of it, man. I just want to cook, and thankfully my wife helps out, but at some point, she's the mom, so his mother as well. So it's like, and you have to find that balance, man, especially with me, having kids, so it's like you want to find that balance. So it's like you want to let your dream work for you and not you work yourself out of your dream, and that's kind of what I'm starting to learn now. So it's like, cooking barbecue is my passion, but the business can kill it sometimes. So it's like I'm learning like how can I shift my momentum, to do other stuff. That way I have more time to do the things that I enjoy. Because I wanted somebody I follow, I'm not going to say his name. He sent me a message on Instagram and DM said, hey man, I love your hustle. I love your grind. I was the same way years ago, and I ended up having a stroke. He said, just always find time, man, for yourself. Don't don't overdo it. And that kind of hit home because I do a lot on my own, it's like, especially with caffeine, it's like I was like, damn, man, that kind of hit home because I'm that person, and health is wealth, right? So it's like, it's like now I'm thinking, okay, how could I do not even just a barbecue, just like do it and still be a part of this community. So I'm looking into branding, I'm looking into bottling sauce, I'm looking into get, into Amazon, e-commerce, so I can, because at the end of the day, like what's important, your health and your family, right? I'm living my dream right now, so how many people can say, hey, I'm actually doing what I love to do? And I'm about to be 40 years old, man, so I can say that after all these years, I'm doing a job that I actually love, don't mind, but I don't want to work myself out of that, or getting burnt out.
And I can touch on that too, because I grew up in the restaurant business. I used to manage restaurants like Texas Roadhouse. They're big wheels, man. They got millions of things going on. And it's such a big operation that I would literally go, my kids would still be asleep, and I'd go in there and kiss them, and they'd wake up, and I'd leave. And when I came home, it was night, and they were just getting tucked into bed. And that was my whole day. And then when I had the time, which is maybe a day or two a week, I would sit there and just get loaded up on text messages and calls, and so the dishwasher quit, or so sick, can't come in, what do we do, or I need this for the schedule. It was just constant, man. And when I was able to get out of the restaurant business and pull back and sit there and go, man, what a whirlwind. Like, I'm 44, I'm surprised I'm not dead already, like it was so stressful. But I loved it, so I pushed through it. But man, it's not a joke, and people get in there, and I see all these food trucks like, oh, you're gonna work all these hours, you're gonna work like 18 hours. Yeah, I probably will, but you know what, I'm also gonna pause and take time for myself, because I learned that lesson already. It's not worth it. I'm not gonna look back and go, man, I'm so happy I worked all those hours in the restaurant. That was so great. I'm so happy that happened. I'm going to Rome. Who cares about Rome? Like, I gotta work in a restaurant forever.
Well, yeah, it's a perfect example, Rusty, for you this weekend. You sacrificed your food truck because you knew that's what you had to do, and you had to do your food truck versus going and competing. That's an ultimate sacrifice, and that's a great business move.
Yeah.
That's part of the game too, is know when to sacrifice for your business and know when to pump the brakes a little bit too. And that takes experience. And some people don't understand that for many years and end up having strokes or whatever else too. And as long as you guys both learn it early, you guys will have very successful businesses, in my opinion.
And that's the thing too, man. It's about building a brand, because a brand is going to outlive anything if you have a successful brand. And I look at somebody that I look up to, that's a mentor to me, is Horn Barbecue, Matt Horn. He literally built a brand, out there in Oakland, man. So it's kind of cool to see the brand he's built. I'm pretty sure he's not working like he used to, because the brand is working for him. So it's just like taking plays out of his playbook. Just say, okay, how can I build a brand? I definitely have a following. So again, it's about using that momentum to shift.
Yeah.
Because my concern, is like, I rent my building. So with Denver growing, it's becoming an investor in an investor playground. So it's like, at what point is she going to sell my building? So I have to think about that too, so it's like, okay, I know it's going to happen someday, because just the area we're at, it's being gentrified like crazy, so I know she's trying to hit up like crazy by investors, but again, also when I started doing good, there goes my rent, right? So it's like, again, so just that battle. So it's like, it's learning how to maneuver, learning how to think strategy. So, okay, what can I do now to prepare myself, for what's going to happen, or if it does happen, and like right now it's great. I'm learning a lot, but it's like, I'm also thinking about the future too. So that's why I'm looking at branding, maybe a location, out of state, because, business is cheaper, so, that's some things that I'm having coming up, and I've been approached by some people, to do some stuff and I think ahead, so.
That's awesome. So tell me about this preserve the pit grant. Because this is something I just recently, Amy Mills actually told me about it. Just very recently. And you're one of the recipients of that. What is that exactly?
I'll tell you a funny story, Rusty. So, my mind goes, you ever heard that saying, like, you go to bed tired, but you still wake up sleepy? Heard that saying?
Yes.
My mind, like, I'm always thinking about shit. Like, I had the notes in my phone are ridiculous. Like, I'll wake up middle of the night and just write some shit in my phone that I thought about, and my wife would be dead asleep. I'll wake her up, like, hey, babe, wake up. Like, let me talk to you about this. And she'd be like, oh my gosh, like, what? And like, I'm talking to myself for like an hour until she falls back asleep. I'm like, damn, she's not even listening to me. So it's like, I'm on Instagram scrolling. It's probably 1 in the morning. And I see the Preserve the Pit kind of commercial on was it a Kingsford's page? And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I remember I shut my wife to wake her up so I can show her this. And she was like, yeah, like just talking to me half sleep. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to apply for this, and blah blah blah. She's like, okay, babe, and just turns over, go right back to sleep. So this is like at 1:30 in the morning. So I wake up next day, apply for it. And I had I didn't think I had a chance, to be honest, because here I am cooking food out of my house. So I didn't know what Kingsford was looking for. So months go by. I'm at my job still, and I got an email from Kingsford. And you know how you see, like, you kind of skim through it to see. It wasn't for Kingsford. It's a third-party company working for Kingsford. Mm-hmm. So the email says, thank you for applying. So I'm like, okay, I was like, oh man, fuck this, So I kind of like, then I scrolled, I saw a dollar amount. Like, oh, let me actually read the email. So I read the email. Oh crap! I didn't get the mentorship, which I wanted, but I did get a $7,500 grant. That was a huge blessing. So that was kind of me being a knucklehead, man. Because I know I'm kind of like I'm a skimmer. And when I saw thanks for applying, I'm like, man, that's because management, when people apply for jobs, that's like the dummy email you send them, to tell them they didn't get the job. So I didn't get the mentorship. Whatever. And then I saw the dollar amount, so it kind of made me read it. And I was talking to the lady. She said it was 1,000 applicants for that, and 13 of us got grants, and 3 of the people got mentorships, and one of them, Charlotte Charmaine, she's a good mentor of mine. She has a restaurant in California, My Father's Barbecue, and and me being a competitor, man, I'm like, what is, like, my food is just as good as theirs, so that's just me being me, there's nothing salty between them, so that kind of made me want to do this harder. Does that make sense? So I can show them, hey, I'm not just a guy who cooks food out of his backyard. Like, I actually do that. Like, I'm actually nice. But it's all about timing, man. It wasn't my time. It wasn't my season. So that just made me more hungrier. It made me more humble. Like, it actually humbled me. I thought I was gonna, I didn't think I was gonna win, but it sucks when you don't win. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, I still won something, and that's a blessing, man, to get that money, because we used that. That bought me a fridge, and a 6-burner stove for my restaurant. So it definitely is a blessing, man, to get that money.
It's funny to think about that, like a restaurant equipment. You bought 2 things with $7,000. I mean, that's actually,
it's and that was the used price. It wasn't. It was used.
It's insane, dude. It is so insane. Like, buying restaurant equipment is a joke. I'm in the wrong business. I'm just making restaurant equipment. Like, it cost me like $500 to make. How much sell that for? $30,000. Yeah.
That's the used price. So
is it something? Rusty was telling me how much he spent on one. I was like, holy smokes, like
Yeah, $1,200 for one Hereford, man. Yeah. Honestly, I bought one used.
1,200 is a used one for real. That's a used. Yeah,
that's a used. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. But it's like it's an investment, man. And they're doing it again. The Kingsford mentorship. And Kevin Bledsoe from Bledsoe's Barbecue wrote me a message saying, "Hey, they're doing the mentorship again." I was like, okay, so like I said, people are watching. You know, it's just cool that somebody in his caliber that I look up to. You know, that's on TV that I saw American Barbecue Showdown. You know what he's done on the barbecue scene, and him to actually tell me, hey, they're doing it again. So actually, that to me that means something. So that maybe they are watching me. You know, so maybe I'm gonna apply. You know, and I told Brian Furman from Beach Crackman Barbecue that I'm gonna apply again. He was like, yeah, you're on my radar.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool because he was the first person to actually follow me back as far as like a barbecue guy. I used to watch his videos on YouTube like religiously on Eater, and I would just type in Furman Barbecue or Beast Crackling and on YouTube, and I would just watch his videos religiously because his story, you know, was inspirational. You know, and like I would just like, my mom's like, man, watch this again. I'm like, yeah, we are. You know, because you know, it's just like you have to dream, man, and have to, you know, have a, you know, and his story and what he's accomplished, man, is very, you know, to me, it's kind of cool. So
that's way cool. So some you can reapply for. You can redo it. You probably won't get the grant necessarily, but you can get the mentorship. Is that what the gig is?
And that's what I'm looking for, because they're doing 6 this year instead of 3. So they're beefing up the number of mentorships they're doing this year. So that's kind of cool, man. So whoever wins it, man, it's a blessing. But again, you know, if I don't get it, you know, I still have my you know, visions that I want to go. But I think, you know, what I want the most, man, is just the industry knowledge. You know, like, you know, how to price stuff, how to run this, how to do that, branding, you know, because a guy that I spent a lot of money with, Robert Sierra from SS Pit Crew, I probably bought like 20 of those hats, man. And what he's doing is freaking awesome. That's support your local Pitmaster hat.
Yeah, those are
you know,
cool.
like I think he built a brand that's freaking awesome. You know, so it's like it's like you want to just pick the brains of industry professionals on the do's and don'ts, and that's kind of, to me, that's more valuable than money, because that's going to get you money in the long term. So it's like that's what I want, is that mentorship, because like I said, being in Colorado, man, you don't really have that. You know, if people who do barbecue don't really reach out to other people to do barbecue. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's more of a competition. It's more you're the competitor. You know.
Well, Kevin Bledsoe, that's a big name. So that's cool. If he's in your corner, that might help a ton.
It might help a ton, man. Instead, like, just to have him follow me. You know, I'm like, man, if he follow me back, I'm like a groupie. Hey, babe, this guy follow me back. Like, who is that again?
Yeah, I do the same thing. And it's hard. You get so excited. You turn to your wife. Oh my gosh, Chris Lee, I like my picture. And she's like, who? I'm like, he's a barbecue guy. Don't worry about it. Nothing.
I'll tell you another story. You know, Adrian Miller, right? He lives in Denver, Colorado. And we had just sold out, and it was a car that parked in front of my restaurant, like on the street. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? You know, barbecue. And he gets out. He had a face mask on. I'm like, holy shit, that's who I think it is. I'm like, oh, babe, that's Adrian Miller. She's like, who? Like the guy from the movie off Netflix. So I'm telling her, getting all excited. He comes to my restaurant, and we didn't have no food for him. But it's like, again, you know, it's just a groupie moment, man. It's like, it's a guy that I watched, read his books, you know, watched him on High on Hot on Netflix, you know, read his resume, and he actually came to my restaurant, man. So that was kind of, again, it's kind of cool, you know, and to go from cooking out of your backyard, man, to idolizing these people, you know, and they actually show up to your spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than being an athlete, man. I'm sorry.
Oh,
you know,
dude.
like it's.
Well, Rusty told me the other day his mindset is to cook for that barbecue pitmaster, that celebrity to come through his door every day and always be ready for it. Don't cut no corners. Always stay ready in case of that moment like yours. Unfortunately, you weren't open that day, but still, you would have been ready for that moment, you know, and that's the way you need to be.
Yeah, I mean, get your process down. Your process is key, man. That's going to help you get. Because I'll tell you, like, look at Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's. There's nothing special about their food, but they got a hell of a process. They food tastes the same in Colorado as it was in Utah because they got the process down. So long as you have a process, man, you're golden.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, you cook for you don't ever sometimes like, oh, well, so and so's coming. I remember restaurants like, oh, so and so's coming. We need to do this. Like, nah, man, that should be the thing we do all the time. For that good lady over there and that guy right there, they should be treated no differently than that person. We need to make sure that we're cooking constantly the best that we can, and no holds barred. That's how you're going to succeed. And building a brand too is a great way to do it. So let's talk about. Like someone who wants to get in the restaurant business, that doesn't have a lot of experience in it and, wants to do barbecue. What kind of advice would you say starting out? What would you tell them?
Honestly, man, is make sure you have the balls to do it, because it takes a lot of balls. You have to have the passion. You have to have the determination, because it's a lot of work. And I think people they see the glory, they see the success stories. They see people who on Instagram, and Instagram could be good or bad. It depends on how you look at it, man. Because people post the great shit, they don't post the horror stories neither. So just make sure you actually, this is what you want to do. You have to, if you're married, your spouse has to support you. Because again, finding that balance. If you got a girlfriend, she has to be on board. Because it's going to be a lot of late nights, early mornings. That means you ain't going out to the movies. You're not going to this birthday party. You're not doing a lot of shit that you want, that you can do. So just having be dialed in, man. So once you get that passion, you have to want to do it, want to learn. And I said I'm still a student, because I still take notes. I still write shit down. I still do a lot of stuff that I did before I had the restaurant, because I want to improve. And I tell people all the time, like, practice don't make perfect, it makes progress. So there's never going to be a perfect cook. Because there's cooks I have that I hate. But it's like, as long as I get progress, I'm happy, right? Because I'm chasing that progress, not perfection. And a lot of it too, man, just making sure you're in the right location. Like, location's key. And protect your dream. Like, don't tell nobody you can't do it, because I've heard that so many times working in my job. Oh, you gotta quit your job to do this. Oh man, what if this happens? What if it happens? I'll figure it out. Like, all I can do is fall. But what? Get back up, right? So just gotta have the determination, man. Protect your dream, and just all those factors, man. But just life is too short. Do it. Don't be afraid to fail.
My favorite quote there is, it's better to have done and failed than it is to never have tried. And so it's like, get after it. But like you said, man, I'm going to tell you right now, what you said is absolutely perfect. If you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to succeed in it, because passion's what propels you through. It's those times when you want to quit, which is all the time. And
trust me,
and it's that passion that makes you put that foot forward. You're like, nah, we're doing this.
Exactly. You gotta want to do it, man. I think COVID created a lot of barbecue cooks, because it's just crazy, because like going to I go to Home Depot to get like wood chunks and stuff before I found a wood supplier, and it was nothing ever there. I'm like, damn, man, it wasn't here it was here 3 months ago, and they sold out on grills. If you go on YouTube, or everybody's doing a YouTube tutorial now, so it's like, it's just crazy how I would say the market's oversaturated. It's just a lot of people are doing it more than what it was. And I think a lot of people got lost in the sauce. So you people who's passionate about it. You really know people who's not. So like I think I'm pretty good, smelling it out. But from that standpoint, man, it's like I would never talk bad about nobody's food, because I know what it takes to go into it. So it's like, if you give me some food that I feel it may not be how I cook, I'm gonna still eat it, just out of respect for you. But it's like, somebody told me to join some barbecue forum. Because I wanted, join this forum. These guys do this. I think it was like, I forget the name of it, man.
I bet it was Barbecue Brethren. I'll bet you. Was it Barbecue Brethren? That's usually the one everyone talks about.
It was like some KC something, KCBC. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong.
The KCBS?
KCBS?
Yes, like, it was a forum, man. It's just seeing how people just trash talk other people, man. Like, I don't want to be a part of that. You know, because I definitely know what it's like to start off. I know what it's like to, it takes a lot of balls to post your food, man. Because you never know who's going to say something. Like, so it's like it's just a lot of courage. And I didn't want to be part of that negativity. I just felt that's going to distract me from my dream. So I had to just not follow no forums. I had to just focus on my craft. I stuck to YouTube, and I DM some people. Joey M is a good friend of mine. Now, he does a lot of YouTube videos, and I asked him so many advice. He probably got sick of me because he gave me his number. That was a mistake. Because I actually called him a lot. But Joe being Joe, man, he's a teacher by profession. He broke it down and talked to me, and and it was kind of good to have that connection, man. But it's like, again, I just think forums and stuff can kind of take you out of your focus.
Well,
it could.
When was the last time you saw someone that making ribs and it's just mediocre ribs? I think in this industry of barbecue, it's always the best. They make the best of anything they make. It's the best. It's the best they've ever done. It's the best. It's the best. The best. The best. No one can compare with the best. And it's the most angry. It's the most hipstery group of people in the world. And there is. It's funny because barbecue. There's so many nice people in it. There really are.
There really are.
It's one of the few industries where people are just think that whatever they're doing, their shit don't stink, and they're just, my friends and my neighbors love it. So it's the best there is, and whatever you're doing is wrong. And instead of keeping your mouth shut and trying anything, you have to, it's weird. Like you said, the forums are so toxic. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I joined one to get my smoker built, so that's because I put out a message, man, hey, I'm looking to get a smoker. I'm in Denver area. This is my budget. And I told him I had like $2,000, and the guy was like, good luck finding a smoker, buddy, for $2,000. And then my smoker guy, John, messaged me like, hey, buddy, message me, DM me. And I was like, okay. And he's just like, what's your number? And I gave him my number, and he like sent me all these pictures of the smokers he built. And he got me a smoker, my first one, for $3,000. So it was $1,000 more than what I wanted to spend. But people laughed at me when I told them what my budget was. Good luck finding one for $2,000. Oh, the prices are still outrageous. And John's been my smoker builder since then. He's recently built my second smoker. First one I bought was a 250 reverse flow. He built it, delivered it, no problem. And my next one, man, was by 850, and he did a hell of a job. So it's like I'm gonna anytime I want a smoker built, I'm going to my buddy John, because John, he didn't laugh at me. He took a chance on me. He actually helped me when other people laughed at me. And that's when those forums, I feel people, like you said, they're the best at everything. Like they can't do nothing wrong. And it's supposed to be educational. It's what it's supposed to be. You would think so. But it's just like these people, man, because they hide behind the keyboard. It's just I don't know, man. It's just crazy. But I say, you could do so much of that stuff if you really want just to focus on the good of it. Because there's a lot of great people that does barbecue, man, and you have to find them.
There's a lot of people who don't. It is what it is.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, I agree with that. If you're on those forums and stuff, you're trying to learn a lot. You're not going to get a lot of places. So yeah, definitely tune those out. I would 100% agree there. It's so bad, dude. I can't even. I've unfollowed so many. I think when I got so excited about barbecue, I was like, heck yeah, barbecue. I'm following everyone, and I spend the next 3 months. Oh shit, I get out of that one. Leave. So it's pretty bad.
It's hard finding like-minded people that you could connect with, man. You want to throw an idea with somebody, but you don't want to get laughed at, but you want to ask a question. But again, like if you're in their eyes, you're a novice, so you're not on their level. So they talk to you like you're stupid, versus like you're a human being, man. So I think that's where people got to realize, be that person that you looked up to, be the person that you idolize. And that's why I do my best to respond to everybody, because people are starting to send me pictures now. Like, hey man, how's this look? I'm like, damn, you asking me this question? You know, because like I was that guy this time last year, man. So it's like I have to be a good person. To me, man, it's about being a good person, being a good human, having some integrity. Hey man, keep at it. It definitely looks good. Keep at it. Just encouraging it, because not a lot of people encourage people nowadays.
Right. And if it's good to them, why change? Why say anything? If they boil their ribs and they soak their wood chips to put it in there, but they then their family loves the barbecue and their neighbors and their family do, then what? Why? So what? Knock yourself out.
Ain't broke, don't fix it, man.
Yeah, do your thing, dude. Don't worry about what anyone has to say. If you like it, that's what it's there for. It's not for them. It's for you. And just do you, and that's the best you can do. And everyone's going to tell you. It's like how many barbecue guys does it take to screw in a light bulb? It takes one and then a whole room to tell them how much better they could have done it. So it's like,
oh my god, I'm gonna steal that from you. That's so true.
So, but hey, man, we appreciate the time you had coming on and taking the time to chat with us and sharing what you know and give us a few tips and a couple of things of inspiration, because I know I took a few things out of this. But if someone's looking for you, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram a lot, man. So that's where I have a website, but I get slandered. Oh, you don't update your website? I don't see a menu. It's just running a lot of platforms. It takes a lot of work when you're by yourself. So I get the most flow and most traffic on Instagram. So it's a Place by the Pound BBQ. At Place by the Pound BBQ on Instagram. I have a website, www.placebythepoundbarbecue. I do have a Facebook like page, which is Place by the Pound Barbecue, but mostly I'm on IG a lot. So
cool. And your stuff looks awesome, man. If I'm ever out there, I'm gonna definitely hit up, because I know Instagram is one thing, but you can just tell that food looks freaking good. So I'm pumped. So I would love to get out there.
You gotta make bad barbecue before you make good barbecue, man. I burned a lot of shit up, bro.
So make that actual big, right?
Yeah. But I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, man. Definitely it means a lot to me, because I'm just a guy who dreamt this, this time last year, and to be sharing my story, not just with you guys, but with other, people who reached out to me, is definitely a blessing, because my ultimate goal is to inspire the next person, because I'm proof that anything is possible.
That's awesome, man. Hey, we appreciate the time for sure, and maybe down the road we'll have to catch up and see how things going, especially if you open up a couple more days a week and you're really rocking and rolling. That'd be cool to check it out. Especially good luck to you on that Kingsford thing too, man. That mentorship would be super cool. So good luck to you.
Thank you. Means a lot, man.
Go check him out, everyone. That's awesome, man. Aaron, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
We appreciate it.
Peace, brothers. You have a good one, man. God bless.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, we're out.
All right, guys. That was Aaron Gonerway.
And you can find us at thepitmasterspodcast.com. You can also find me at Salt City Barbecue, wherever you are on socials. Follow Anthony on Smoking No Joke anywhere you're on socials. You can also find us both at the Pitmasters Podcast anywhere on socials.
Definitely. And then, just make sure you support Rusty whenever he's out cooking. He really likes that support. Even Rusty, when are you going to do to-go orders online where you can ship people frozen food?
I'm not that yet. I'm not that big.
You're not that baller yet?
Not yet.
Well, he'll be getting ready to do that next week. He'll be looking into it. Just talking shit. Sorry.
Nice. Well, guys, we'll see you next week when everyone's back from the World Steak Championship, and we'll get down and dirty and on that whole contest and see how that went.
For sure.
Peace out.
Peace.
One sec. I want to do a little bit for my thing on Saturday. That's cool. I do have one thing. I will be at the barbecue pit stop in Salt Lake. So come stop by for lunch. Everyone's going to be gone out to the cool event.
And I'm going to be like 9 of us.
I know. That's like everybody, though.
No, there's a lot of people.
So if you're not doing anything, the barbecue pit stop at Salt Lake, we will be there. Come get some stuff and get some food. What's better than that? What's better than getting some barbecue and buying barbecue supplies? You know? You guys can go get all the stuff that you have, come over, and then judge me and be like, oh, I could cook better than that.
You know, be way better is if you could do that with your wife's permission without getting in trouble.
What? Buy all that stuff?
Yeah.
I just do it anyway.
Got it.
Anyway. Boom. That's it.